No. I'm sick and tired of feeling so tired. Welcome one and all to the April edition of Coffee and Craft, which is basically the video roundups that I do, where I share my makes and my whips and my not physical whips, that's weird, work in progress is. And I set goals for the month ahead, review goals for the month gone, and then we talk about stuff, sometimes Etsy stuff, sometimes more general handmade business stuff. And well, we don't talk about it, I talk and you listen, but you know, you catch my drift. Anyway, feeling a little bit perkier this week for the first time out of the entire month. This month has been such a write-off. It has felt like walking through treacle with lead boots on. For those who are new here, hi. The last time I made It's a lovely sunny day here, which means the jets are out practicing and they're going over the house. So if you hear rumbling in the background, that's what that is. We've got lambs in the field now, so I've got beautiful, cute, bouncy distractions all over the place. And sometimes a jet will whoosh over and it will scare the stuffing out of them. They go running to their mums, only their mums all look the same, so they get confused and they just run. Right, yes, what was I saying? April, hard. The last Coffee and Craft video that I made, which was the one where I was spinning plates and ironically talking about how I keep things going even when times are difficult. That was ironic because what I hadn't realised at the time when I sat down to film that video was that I had just caught COVID and I was feeling it. So when I turn up here to film, I'm usually feeling quite like hyped up and excited, and it sometimes a little bit caffeinated, and it comes across, I think, sometimes, but that's by the by. I was feeling quite flat and the whole process it was hard, not to mention I was having technical issues as well, but it was a difficult process. And then obviously I figured out why, but the whole month, even after the virus had packed up and buggered off, the post-viral fatigue that comes with it, that has wiped me out, and I have found things so difficult this month, and we'll come back to that in a bit. But I'm starting to feel, I'm just starting to feel a bit more awake during the day, and if I do start getting a slump, it tends to be right at the end, so things are getting better. I wish they would get better a little bit faster because I am really frustrated with how progress is going, which is slow. But progress is being made and I'm feeling a lot better than I was even at the start of this month. So anywho, so the reason why I tell you that is, why do I tell you that? Because it's had an impact on everything that I have done this month. Okay, right, so we start with my makes for April. And my makes for April are this. Nothing. I've made nothing this month. Absolutely nothing. And I've always managed something. I do have a couple of work in progresses though, whips. This is my first whip and I've been very quiet on social media, but if you do follow me on Instagram, you may have seen me start these. I just love stitching leaves now. I'm addicted and it's just, oh, they're cute. Again, my logo. I will share what I have planned for these in a bit, but not now. So for now, just behold. And this is a work-related whip. Let me put down my coffee. I can't see it. Essentially, this is my attempt at pivoting. Maybe I'll come back to that in a minute, but basically it's not going well. I'm trying to make PDF patterns for embroidery artists, or these are the beginner ones. So I need to try and make them very simple and basic, but also pretty, something that somebody would want to stitch. I don't know. I mean, now that I'm holding it up, it weirdly looks better there than it does in real life in front of me. I don't know. I'll work on it. But yes, I want to make... Oh, stop kicking the bloody tripod, Kim. I need to make 4 PDF patterns and I'm trying to just chip away at it and do a little bit every single day. But every time I look at them, my brain's like, ugh! So where do I put you? Right, over here. And then this is my next whip, which is, it's Do I count this as a work in progress? Because all I've done is bought the pattern and printed it off. I'm counting it. Again, I don't have it because I'm so disorganized today, but you'll remember my crochet snood cowl thing that I've been wearing throughout the winter because it's been flipping cold. Well, this lady, where is she? La. She has a business called Pigeon's Nest. This is a crochet granny square cardigan, and it's a thing of joy. I cannot wait to make this. So you will be seeing more of this in future coffee and craft videos because this is going to take me some time. To give you an idea of just how much, I'm hoping to have this ready for autumn when the when the weather dips. It's going to be a slow burner, that one. Okay, that concludes my makes and whips for April. Nice and quick, because I did nothing. Oh, April goals. I don't know why I'm looking so crestfallen because I managed to do them all. So the first one was to launch the patches. Oh my gosh. Now, yes, I have a habit of wanting to make all of the things for a product drop and then just making a tiny handful of things. There were 10 patches, that was all. And I've sold 8 of them. But that's a lot more than I expected. I'm going to be honest. I thought I might sell 1 or 2 and I sold 8. So to everyone who bought one, thank you. When a maker posts their work, it never stops feeling a little bit like, I've been doing this for years and I swear that never goes. So unfortunately, if any of you are watching this hoping that that does eventually disappear, sure. Okay, so I launched the patterns. Chick, tick, check and tick, chick. The next goal was to think about an evergreen item to have in the shop, and I've put embroidery patterns. Well, yeah, working on it. Actually, I had only intended to come up with an idea, so I feel like the fact that I've come up with an idea and I've started working on it during a month that I was really feeling flat, I think I was doing pretty good actually. Oh, this one was a biggie. I wanted to research how to scale up the shop, and this is kind of what I'm basing my topic on this month. The way I was intending to scale up the shop at the very start of this year has had to change, and I've made videos on pivoting. Just one second. Pivot, 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 pivoting, pivot, 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 pivot. And if you want to know what the bloody hell that was about, go and have a look in the comments. So yes, I had to research how to scale up the shop again. I have got a new plan. Kind of annoying that I feel like I've gone back 10 steps and having to start all over again, but here we are. That's just running a business for you. And I did a video recently about being lost in the Etsy woods and some questions that you can ask yourself to help make sure that you're on track, and also to make sure that you are in fact making the money that you want to be making and not losing money, etc., etc. I'm proud of that one, and I actually took the information that was within that video and applied it to get my new plan and to set my new goals, which to be fair are not so different, but I could go into more detail, but I need to crack on with the topic for the month, which to be fair is linked to this anyway. Okay, I did put a question out on the community tab, as I usually do before I film these videos, and I did get some questions, but the questions that I got I feel need a video all of their own. So a couple of you were asking about mailing lists. I've got a mailing list video going up for the membership community first, and then I will do another one here for the main channel. I do have a video on mailing lists, which I will link in the description below. Someone else also asked for pricing strategies. I don't really feel like I'm the right person to do a video on pricing strategies because I myself bend the rules when it comes to the right and wrong way to price. I don't underprice, I do kind of underprice my items, but I do also make sure that I make a profit and I'm paying myself, but I'm just creative with how I do that, because essentially you're supposed to pay yourself profit and your time per hour, and this is going to upset some people, but I don't charge for the hours that I put into my stuff. Before anybody shouts at me, it's my business, I do what I want. But honestly, if I were to do that, my items would be so highly priced, I wouldn't sell anything. So I have to make a decision. Do I want to compromise and actually make some sales, or do I just want to price them right and not make anything? It's a horrible position to be in, but if you're going to sell on Etsy, that's Etsy for you. I hate to break it to you, but I've said before, like a website can be full of your gallery items where you can price things perfectly, but Etsy, it's the gift shop. Nobody is looking to buy an original painting in a gallery gift shop. They're looking for prints of the painting, and that's very, very similar to how people view Etsy. So that was a very waffly way of saying that although I did put the feelers out for questions, the ones that I got back, they need videos of their own. And the pricing one, I might make a video on how I price my items, but it won't necessarily be a strategy that I advise for other people, because what I do is just, it would be really bad advice for a lot of people. So I don't want to do that. And I do know that some people watch these videos and they take things so very literally. So they don't always necessarily think, oh, that's how that person does it. I wonder if that would work for me, or what if that element would work for me, but I would need to tweak it. Some people watch this and think, oh, that person does that, and they're saying, so that's what I must do for my business, even though it's something completely different. No, we shall see. We shall see. I will add it to the list. But for today, I actually thought it might be more beneficial to some of you to hear a really, really honest account of how my Etsy shop is doing right now, because I am seeing so many comments about how people's businesses are really, really feeling the pinch right now. And I come here on YouTube and I make these videos on Etsy, and there's an element of what's that phrase? Imposter syndrome. Because I feel a lot of people show up and they get to make these videos and to put themselves in a position of authority, because I have a 6-figure business on Etsy. And I genuinely think it's like, you do? What are you selling? Digital downloads? Print on demand? I mean, it can't be handmade. If anybody knows of a handmade seller who strictly makes handmade stuff and nothing else, who's making a 6-figure business from those handmade items and nothing else, please let me know, because I don't even know if it's possible to have a 6-figure business with handmade items. And if it is, please tell me if they have a YouTube channel, because I want to be watching them. As an Etsy seller, I want to be seeing that. I've never made 6 figures from my business. Let me just add that right now. But at one point I did have it that it was matching what I had made at my previous job, and I was paying my bills with it, and it was just, if anything, I was struggling to keep up with demand. It was insane. That's not the case anymore. To the point, well, oh yeah, this is why I talked to you about feeling ill over April. I remember now. I have had so much time to think, so much time. And because I've had so little energy, it's really made me focus on, well, one, doing the important things and only the important things. So it highlights what is just bells and whistles and distractions. But also it's highlighted to me with a very bright light what isn't working. And Etsy, my Etsy shop, is the thing that just glaringly shouting at me with a spotlight on it, I'm not working. So when I started this channel at the start of 2001, my Etsy shop was closed and I was working towards reopening it. And I had in my head that it was going to be a really, really great opportunity to almost start afresh and and build my Etsy shop up, and to be able to share that journey with people and to share what I had learned over the previous years as well. And that idea really excited me and I couldn't wait to get going, and here I am. However, okay, fair enough, it's not been a year yet, but there has been so many things going on, hasn't there? And with all of that, it's not quite gone the way I expected it to. And my Etsy shop as it stands it's a business, but it's making hobby level income. And that's a lot of time and effort that I'm spending on something that pays this much of my bills. Now, the idea was to spend this year adding in evergreen items that I could keep stocked in the shop, that I could make over and over again so that the items could build a quality score. And these items were designed to bring in fairly regular sales throughout the year. And on top of that, I was going to release periodic product drops. So I expected my sales to be like ping, 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 wee, ping, 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 wee. You get my point. What unfortunately is happening is that it's like flatline, wee, flatline again. And that is pretty much how my shop is just hanging in there by a thread. In April, I made less than £100 in revenue, not profit, revenue. That is not worth my time and effort. And that was a really, really jagged little pill to swallow. You get my point, whatever. You can't go wrong with a bit of Alanis. Anyway, so yes, my Etsy shop right now, as it stands, is not financially sustainable. And I had one of those thoughts and those little sit down talks to myself that I think many of us have had, where I basically said, is this worth it? Should I just cut my losses and focus on this YouTube? I could tilt away from the Etsy content and do something a bit different. And I did seriously think about that until when I took that idea and I tried to imagine life after doing all of that. I realized, rather annoyingly, every single path that I could take will always take me back to making, to where the flip is it now? Creating anything, because that is the nucleus to what I do. I will always return to the making. If this YouTube channel didn't exist, I would make. If my Etsy shop didn't exist, I would make. If I didn't make money from any of this and I got myself a proper job, I would still make stuff. In fact, the whole reason for setting up my Etsy shop in the beginning as a hobby was because I wanted an excuse to make more stuff. And if other people were buying it, it didn't have to sit around my house, and it just felt like a brilliant idea. I did not expect to have my shop still going 15 years on, but here we are. What's the solution then, Kim? Well, now sometimes I rock up here as an Etsy seller and I'm sharing some advice or some nugget of information that I think will help you. And sometimes I turn up here as an Etsy seller that's just trying to get through a big thicket of brambles with no tools and just not get scratched to bits. That's where I am right now. That's what this video is about. I have worked out where I need to be now. I've got my plan. I know now how I can scale up the shop. I can see my new destination, or at least I can see the direction that I need to go in. But in between me and the path is this huge thicket of brambles, and can't go around it, can't go over it, can't go under it. It's like the bear hunt, that children's book. You've got to go through it. And I don't wanna. But all I know is that I have got to be making more than £100 in revenue a month from Etsy to make it viable. Otherwise, what is the bloody point? I've already talked about how I need to pivot the shop. I'm working on it, as you've seen, I've started, but it needs to start paying for itself. Otherwise, it's just not worth my time and energy. Am I going to do that? Who knows? I'm going to give myself this year to do that. And if it's not working, I am going to sack off Etsy. Not because I'm having a huff with Etsy and how it does things, because it's my business. It's not Etsy that's failing, it's me, if you see what I mean. That's hard to say, ouch, but it's true, it's true. If I'm going to continue to make handmade items, well, for a start, I'm already making life harder for myself, because Etsy is now a platform of things that are quick and easy to make. Let's be honest, the ones who are really taking off, they are doing that because they are going in with the intention of scaling up their business from day one. They are not sitting there spending hours and hours creating something. They're there to make quick and fast sales. And I'm not trying to be a complete cow when I say that. That is a completely valid business. And hell, if it's working for them, then somebody may as well be making some money on Etsy, so well done. But I'm just saying, from a handmade perspective, with things like this, I have some tough decisions to make, and Etsy just might not be the best place for me anymore. Anyway, this video has basically been a bit of, I guess, me coming out and being honest about my business, and that I'm tired. I'm tired of constantly struggling with that bloody shop. And I keep telling myself that if I can just get it to a certain level, I'll be able to make something of it again. But there's always something that seems to keep knocking me back. Now, I know that I moan about Etsy a fair bit and they do some really stupid things sometimes, but I'm fairly sure in their defense that they've had nothing to do with the whole pandemic and Brexit and the cost of living crisis and the fact that there's a nutter just hovering his hand over the World War III button. They're a pain in the arse, but they're not that bad. But every single time I think I'm starting to get somewhere, there's just something that just seems to be like, nope, nope, get down. And I'm tired. So I think I'm going to give myself this year, and then I'm going to reevaluate. If my shop has not started to get somewhere, I'm done. Not with Etsy, but with that shop, with this part of the business maybe. And I don't know what I'll do about the making. I'll have to turn it into a hobby or something. That sounds really scary to say. And I think that's why I've been waffling so much with this video, because I think this is the whole point of the video. I'm at a point where I'm thinking it's do or die. I am tired. As you can see, I don't have the answers, just a whole lot of questions, because I mean, some of the stuff that I've mentioned that has been knocking me back could get better over the next year. I could find myself in a very different position at the end of the year. We'll see. I'm not giving up. This is not me saying I'm going to give up. I'm putting a time limit on it. I will give myself until the end of 2022, and then I will see where I am then. If nothing else, I've just given myself content for the end of the year. It's nice to know that I'm looking ahead. Right, I've been waffling on for way too long, so I'm going to say goodbye, and I will see you again with a regular video next week. Ta-ra!